very good afternoon to you all, and thank you so much for joining us on Ogtv News at 2. I'm Shemi Luri Makonju. 239 new confirmed coronavirus cases and 10 deaths were recorded in Nigeria. The 239 new cases are reported from 15 states: Plateau 116, FCT 33, Lagos 19, Ekiti 12, Kaduna 11, Ogun 11, Ebonyi 8, Benue 7, Abia 5, Delta 5, Ondo 4, Edo 3, Imo 2, Osun 2, and Bauchi 1. This has brought the total number of COVID-19 confirmed cases to 54,247, 42,010 discharged, and 1,023 deaths recorded in 36 states and Federal Capital Territory. The presidency has disclosed that those who work around the president, Muhammadu Buhari, are routinely tested for COVID-19. This was said to be based on the directive of doctors and scientists. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, disclosed this in a statement titled "Ignore Scaremongers Presidency." Shehu was reacting to a report by unnamed online news medium, which he said reported that Buhari's senior special assistant, social affairs and domestic matters, Sarki Alba, tested positive for the virus. The presidential aide said contrary to the report, Alba has always been testing negative for the virus during the routine tests. The statement partly read, "The presidency wishes to advise Nigerians to ignore determined agents of fake news bent on spreading false stories to the public." The Ogun State government has reaffirmed that recently passed new pension reform bill by the State House of Assembly is in the best interest of its workforce. The new pension reform bill, still awaiting Governor Dapo Abiodun's assent, is to enable government to fulfill its obligations in the payment of gratuities and other workers' emoluments. In a statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Kunle Shomori, the bill is, among other objectives, to harmonize and align some aspects of Ogun State Pension Law 2013 with the Pensions Act of 2006. The statement further adds that it is also intended to address the challenges of accumulated unremitted contributions by the past pension administration, and well as enhance the welfare of public servants in and out of service. All this came to the fore at a meeting between government team comprising Secretary to State Government Mr. Tokunbo Talabi, the Chief of Staff to the Governor Alhaji Salis Shoaib, Commissioner for Finance Mr. Dapo Okubadejo, and the Head of Service Alhaja Selimot Otun, with the labor movements led by the Chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress Ogun State Council, Comrade Emmanuel Bankole. The labor appreciated the good intentions of government on the development, but however expressed reservations about inadequate consultations with the supposed beneficiaries of the law. The briefing concluded that since the bill is yet to be assented to, the government, labor unions and other stakeholders should study the proposed reform and forward areas of concerns to the government within 1 week to harmonize disparate positions and then forward same to the House of Assembly for consideration and amendment. The meeting concluded with both the government team and labor expressing satisfaction with the cordial relationship existing between Prince Dapo Abiodun's administration and the labor as exhibited during the discussions. In the meantime, Ogun State House of Assembly has explained the reason behind the passage of the pension reform bill, saying this is imperative for the state government to utilize the urgent window of financial facility being provided by regulatory authorities to secure funds through bonds to defray outstanding gratuities of retirees, which necessitated the recent passage of the bill by the Assembly. The Speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, disclosed this while receiving the executive members of the state chapter of the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC), led by Comrade Emmanuel Bankole. Issues about the new bill at the Assembly Complex of Kemoson, Abeokuta. House of Assembly correspondent Kola Waliosho covered the meeting and the report is presented in this package.
Speaker, Ogun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, saw the need to engage the labor unions in the state over the trending issues generated from the recent passage of pension reform bill, saying that the new law, which was subject to further amendments by the Assembly, arising from further engagements between the state government and labor unions with a view to addressing any grey area if discovered, got the unanimous and speedy approval of the lawmakers as a result of the short time frame issued by regulatory bodies for the state government to propose amendments to some of its laws to conform with stipulated standards as applicable at the national level.
I want to say that the amendments bill that was just passed by the House is not cast in iron. It's subject to discussion, amendment or further amendment as a result of what you and the executive will come up with. We are proactive, we are labor friendly, we will not do anything that will hurt the feelings of the labor. We are only persuaded by the fact that those who want to give us the bond want our law to be the same thing as that of the national law. I just want to appeal to you that you should allow dialogue to reign in this matter.
Speaker Oluomo thereafter reassured the labor unions that the Ninth Assembly would always remain worker-friendly and would continue to put in place relevant legislative instruments to promote industrial harmony between the state workforce and government. Earlier in his remarks, Chairman Nigeria Labour Congress, Ogun State Council, Comrade Emmanuel Bankole, lauded the Speaker for the engagement and called for further engagement on the part of the present administration with a view to further strengthening industrial harmony and correcting the anomalies put in place by the previous administrations on issues relating to workers' welfare.
We look at it together, pros and cons, so that fears be allayed, and then we agree. And then the law that we so pass will be our law. But with proper engagement, together we can collectively agree. So we've taken your word, we will go back to our members. At least we have extracted commitment from government today, earlier today, that they will put all on hold until all the stakeholders are involved, and then whatever comes from us, we will come back to the House. So that is...
In another development, the State House of Assembly Committee on Public Accounts and Anti-Corruption has assessed the financial records of DS Adegbero Polytechnic, Itori, and State Hospital Ijebu-Ode with an invitation to the Polytechnic's former rector, Professor Olufemi Fatade, and the hospital's former Director of Finance and Accounts, Mr. Olasukomi Lawal, to appear before the lawmakers on Thursday, 11th September 2020. The chairman of the committee, Musefiu Lamidi, stated that the invitation became necessary as there were grey areas in the institution's financial records that needed clarifications by the invited officials.
The governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, has approved the appointment of 6 new permanent secretaries in the state civil service. Named as permanent secretaries are Kehinde Onosonya, Johnson Odeyemi, Olukaode Ogunleye, Moses Adebayo, Engineer Lateef Yusuf, and Mrs. Olushola Oshashono. Until their new appointments, these career officers were senior directors in the respective ministries, agencies, and parastatals. A statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Mr. Kunle Shumori, said the appointments were made in line with the desire of the government to fill the existing vacancies. Among the rank of permanent secretaries in the state public service, seniority, merit, professionalism, and diversity are considered in the appointment of the 6 permanent secretaries and done in the exercise of the provision of Section 208 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Also in the exercise of his power, the governor deployed the new permanent secretaries to the following ministries and agencies: Kehinde Onosonya, Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs; Engineer Lateef Yusuf, Ministry of Works and Infrastructure; Mrs. Olushola Oshashono, Ministry of Transportation; Moses Adebayo, Bureau of Protocols and Ceremonials; Mr. Olukaode Ogunleye, Bureau of Service Matters. According to a statement by Mr. Kunle Shumori, Chief Press Secretary to Governor Dapo Abiodun, redeployed to hold ministries, agencies, and commissions are Mr. Kolawole Fagbon from the Bureau of Service Matters to Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. Mrs. Titilayo Dosumu moves from Teaching Service Commission to Ogun State Independent Electoral Commission. Engineer Jonathan Onojobi goes to Ministry of Culture and Tourism from the House of Assembly, while Dr. Oluranti Oladeyinde has been redeployed from the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development to the Bureau of Government House and General Services. Also moved are Mrs. Melucia Ogunremi from the Ministry of Culture and Tourism to the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, and Mr. Olurotimi Shotubo from the Ministry of Social Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs and Administration. While congratulating the new appointees, Governor Abiodun urges them to brace up for the challenges of their positions and apply themselves to the Building a Future Together agenda of the administration. Migration remains an ever-growing phenomenon that has implications for both sending and receiving countries. On average, the developed countries benefit more from immigration, as immigrants tend to raise natives' productivity and income. Munyoluwa Ajayi, in this special report, takes a look at the effect of migration on any nation's economy and the way out. Her report is presented in this package.
As the most populous country in Africa, with an estimated population of over 130 million, Nigeria plays a key role in the evolution of African migration. The post-1981 decrease in oil prices and associated economic downturn alongside political repression have transformed Nigeria from a net immigration to a net emigration country.
Migration is simply the permanent or temporary movement of people from one country to another. So it's a permanent change or temporary change of residence by an individual or group of people. It can be forced and it can be voluntary.
The increasing polarization of the economy, scale of unemployment problem, which are plaguing Nigeria, remain the major reasons why most people leave Nigeria.
The impact of migration on the country travel to is that it boosts the economy of that country due to its sufficiency in manpower.
Migration is caused by natural disasters, flood, lack of job opportunities, generally bad economy in the country. Also, political disturbance too can force people to migrate from one country to another country. The voluntary one is where people understand that, okay, so we are migrating to get better education, job opportunities, good economy, nicer climate. For the hosting countries, it creates more competition there. So where there are too much people are migrating out of a country to another country, it creates an imbalance in the population density.
Major movements by migrants to another country may have social, economic, and cultural impact that is distinctly positive in both countries of origin and destination.
Rural to urban migration, government should ensure that there are basic amenities in the rural areas, while for international migration, that's from one country to another, government of different countries can work together to help each other, so it will reduce people migrating from one country to another.
Curbing the negative impact of migration on an economy of a country is solely in the hand of the government. If government should provide basic amenities like simple health care and other related basic amenities, the economy of that country will greatly improve.
For economic growth and opportunities, respondents urged the government to create policy that will help to provide jobs by supporting African businesses and entrepreneurship to promote better political governance and employment.
Now to foreign news. Sudan said that government and rebel leaders had met to begin implementing a deal that aims to end a war in which hundreds of thousands of people were killed. Rebel commanders from the Sudan Revolutionary Front, SRF, and the transitional government met face-to-face on Tuesday, one day after striking the deal. This was the first joint meeting after the inking of the accord, said Al-Hadi Idris, the head of SRF rebel coalition. Idris said the way forward was discussed in the meeting, adding that there were still issues related to the timeline of implementing the deal. The peace deal covers issues around security, land ownership, transitional justice, power sharing, and the return of people who fled their homes because of fighting. 14 people are on trial in France over the deadly attack on the satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo more than 5 years ago. Most of the alleged accomplices are in court in Paris, but 3 are being tried in absentia. They are accused of helping the militant Islamist attackers who shot dead 12 people in and around Charlie Hebdo's Paris office in January 2015. A third gunman shot dead a policewoman and attacked a Jewish supermarket. In total, 17 people were killed in a period of just 3 days. The killings marked the beginning of a wave of jihadist attack across France that left more than 250 people dead. Now to sports. Venus Williams bowed out of the US Open in the first round of for the first time in her professional career, losing in straight sets to Karolina Muchova of the Czech Republic. The 40-year-old Williams, marking her 22nd appearance at Flushing Meadows in a career that has spanned 4 decades, was beaten 6-3, 5-7. It marked Williams' second consecutive first-round defeat at a Grand Slam event after exiting the Australian Open at the same stage in January. Williams, however, has no plans to hang up her racket, revealing after her loss that she is already looking ahead to the rescheduled French Open and clay court swing through Europe. To end the news at 2, we generate fears while we sit. We overcome them by actions. You can now watch us live on these platforms: Apple, Roku, Windows, BlackBerry, Facebook and Android devices. You can also watch live on Ogtv website, www.ogtv.com.ng/live. Thank you so much for watching, and do have a lovely day. Bye for now.
This is Ogtv, the People's Telly.